Well, did you guess where we're headed from last week's episode? Big hint, we're pointed west. The changing leaves, rolling hills, and lakes are just beautiful, but the interstates are a little hit and miss. Sure hope the roads get some work done on them. Still haven't figured it out? Well, we're crossing a fairly big river. I guess that now you know the state. How about a town or a city? Hey, an Agcat. Okay, we're going back to the future for just a little bit here to discuss something that could be a safety issue for our RVing team, as in all of our viewers. When we started this season, we experienced, how should I say, an anomaly. We termed it tramlining. It scared the dog snot out of me. Well, because I've never had a vehicle out of my control in all the years and different pieces of equipment from fire apparatus, armored vehicles, aircraft, etc. till that day. And pulling a fifth wheel is a lot like driving a large hazmat or ladder truck. I've since shown the video to a lot of mechanics along our travels, and one term keeps coming up: Ford Super Duty Death Wobble. With a name like that, it kind of gets your attention. While in Orlando, when we flew back for some doctor's visits, we picked up mail, and there was a notice from the Ford Motor Company that there was a recall or upgrade for our F450, something to do with the steering stabilizer. We took the beast into a dealership in Tennessee, first oil change. While there, I asked him to check the front end. Of course, the report back was, hey, all's fine. A couple of weeks later, we're towing Beauty, and it happens again. But I was at least half prepared since the last incident. At about 60 miles per hour, we hit a pothole on one of the U.S.'s well-maintained interstate, and the chain reaction began quickly and violently. The steering wheel and front end began to shake, mostly uncontrollable. It was all I could do to keep the vehicle straight. The Ford shook so hard that the 42-foot RV began fishtailing. It was here that the truck kicked itself out of adaptive cruise and was trying to slow. I instinctively reached for the trailer brake and squeezed progressively harder till I felt the RV snap back in line, and at that moment the front end settled back to normal. Guess you could say white-knuckled was the theme for the rest of that day's drive. I began searching YouTube, of course, for information on this phenomenon, and surprisingly found quite a bit of info and first-hand experience. We were already kind of making our way back to Arizona to winter and refit, but now we had a more pressing reason to get to the dealer we purchased the 450 from. We still had some targeted destinations on our journey back, but we'll be much slower and cautious around potholes and expansion joints. Now, we're not experts and suggest you check with your Ford authorized mechanics, but by luck or instinct, we survived a dangerous situation. Ford is aware and has updates and mods to supposedly remedy the problem. We also believe there is some kind of class action filed in regards to this particular problem. Ours is a 2019 bought new this year 450 Super Duty Platinum, but understand the problem falls across the whole spectrum of Super Duties and also affects many Jeep products, once owned by Ford, now Chrysler. And Dodge has a similar issue, dubbed the Ram Death Wobble. Don't wait for it to happen. Take it to your dealer or trusted mechanic and have it inspected. Side note, our vehicle only had 6,000 miles before the first episode, and the second, more violent, was at 12,000 miles. You might insist on the manufacturer to correct the problem before anyone is injured. We hope that this will get your attention and that you can proactively address the potential. Now that I've got you rattled, pun intended, back to our latest adventure, as if this wasn't enough. You just don't see a lot of this in the desert. This place is definitely unique. The park is on the riverside of a seawall, and Shelley's not happy about having a 15-foot drop-off about 50 feet away from our space. But oh my gosh, is it unique. Thanks for joining us on our travels. As the weather cools, we're working our way back towards Arizona and still have some neat places to visit. We're glad you're here. See you again next week. Carpe diem, or seize the moment.